Alright. I am going to... I don't know if you're back yet, because, yeah, waiting for it to load. But...
The Shadow Guard have reinforced their garrisons. We can't let them keep this foothold.
Alright, there we are. Now, this is my sign to not touch my web browser anymore. Just leave it closed. In the hopes that that's all it was. Obviously, it's a performance issue between the various things trying to compete. But that's okay. I know, and I normally can, but I think it's because I've left my computer on for a couple of days in a row. I think it's just had enough, which is fair enough. Like, I will stop trying to do too many things at once. Once I finish stream tonight, I'm going to do a proper restart of everything. That way it's like all clean again if I'm going to be playing other things. But yeah, for now we're okay. Alright, so we're going to go to the Oasis now, and we're going to continue that quest line. Yeah, all I was doing was looking at articles on Wowhead, which is like the World of Warcraft news site. And, yeah, every time I opened up a new tab, it just increased the chances of this happening. I was like, oh, well, that's my way of being told, stop trying to do it all at once.
Last, we are home. The trust will restore.
Which is funny, because, like, my computer isn't what you would call, like, desperate for upgrade. But it definitely probably could, it probably definitely could be upgraded in some areas, like a bit of performance stuff, but that's alright. I think we're okay for now. It's my lesson to not start a stream, or not stream on a night where, like, I haven't given my computer a chance to do a proper restart. Especially after being up all night last night. Shut it down. And I normally do. Like, I usually, like, if I'm just playing, like, randomly, I usually shut down the computer, like, every night. But, like, say, for example, last night where I logged off at, like, 2 or 3 in the morning, I was like, oh, you know what? I might just log on the minute I wake up and come back to the computer. So I put it into sleep mode thinking, oh, yeah, 1 off is okay. But obviously that whole day and today was obviously enough. It was just like, nah. We want to rest. I'm not as bad as people at my work. We've got people who have left their computers on for like hundreds of days, and I'm like, how? How is that computer still functioning? I mean, it usually isn't. It's usually falling apart and things are crashing on them all the time. So yes, this is the Oasis we're trying to cultivate. And Venari, who I'll see in a minute, is, she's the sort of, like, the caretaker of this whole place. Yeah. And I used to be like that in my old house. It was very much a sauna with that sort of thing. But, yeah, like if it's only a day or two, it's not so bad. But yeah, if I leave it on way too long, then yeah, we absolutely don't. Oh my god, I gotta clean up poo. That is so degrading. Oh, Venari wants me to come over now. Ah, so he gave me a quest line to collect poo, but it turned out that they've realized that I'm actually of a higher station and I shouldn't have to do that. That's so funny.
I swore an oath to restore my world. My fortune for the world that was. Our work has just begun.
I don't know what the answer to this... Ah, it's a status update. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I'm gonna go collect some data. Banana Benders is someone's guild. That's funny. I gotta click a drone. Where is the drone? It walks around this area. Ah, there it is. Oh, that's an alpha. That's not what I wanted. These quests are cool. It's very wholesome, like you're kind of saving an environment. Oh, there's the drone. I was like, where's this drone? I just hope it actually like grows as you improve it, because like that would be a bit shit if it doesn't really change much. A matriarch.
Put your hopes in the trust. What is more valuable than home?
It's actually a pretty crazy story, this this current chapter. So these creatures that I'm talking to, all of these like robotic looking characters, they all originally had corporeal, like, I don't know if they were like mortal human style figures, because I haven't really got any photos of them, but they were flesh beings, so they had some kind of flesh and structure of them. And this planet was under threat by the big villain of the current chapter, who's come back again, Demencius. He's this giant like void lord that's trying to eat the planet. And the planet was under threat, and this person, Venari, Locust Walker, who's appeared in a few of my quests so far, and a couple other head people determined that they needed to find a way to protect themselves from the void that was coming. And so the other guy devised a plan where they would create these they would use these magical wraps that they wear, like these cloth sort of style wraps, and they would imbue them with enough magic to protect them from the storm of the void coming at the planet. And it did help, but because of how much arcane energy was embedded into them, it actually tore away at their flesh, and so they actually became arcane spirits of sorts. And then they would wear certain gear and armor to give them more of a corporeal shape, but they were effectively just beings of arcane energy. And these beings in particular, the brokers, they decided when the planet was torn apart, different members of Koresh, this planet, they went to different sectors of the galaxy or the cosmos. And these ones, the brokers, they decided to go to the Shadowlands, which is kind of like the afterlife. And in the Shadowlands, they needed special gear to survive there. So they're in very sort of futuristic tech gear. And that's why they've got like the flames kind of coming out of their heads, because that's like the arcane energy. But the other ones, I don't think any of them here represent the ethereals, but the ethereals have a little bit of a different look. They have like the purple arcane, and they have like wraps around them and stuff like that. So that's kind of why they don't look humanoid, because they actually aren't anymore. They used to be. But unfortunately, through some survival decisions that probably weren't the smartest, but it did kind of progress them, they unfortunately, yeah, now they don't have like a proper human body, or whatever form that they were before. I wonder if we ever will see what a visual of them looked like before the storm hit. But yeah, so we've come back to this broken planet to try and save it one last time. And in the raid that will come up for people in the next week or two, the big bad is Demencius, who's the original big void lord that destroyed the planet. He's coming back for one last go, and we're going to seal him hopefully once and for all. And yeah, this city, Tazavesh, this was part of the Shadowlands where Venari and the brokers came from, and they've basically teleported this whole place back here, so we can use this as like a hub to do quests in. They do that in this game. There's quite a few different places. There's one place called Dalaran. It's like a magical city, and this is another example where they've just teleported it to a new location. The kind of magic they would need to do that, honestly. Oh, that's right. I'm using these circles to throw scrolls of advertisement around. I'm throwing papers everywhere. We're doing brochures. It's basically like the old Avon ladies. Avon calling. I'm assuming Avon is an American thing. I'm pretty sure we got it from America back in the 80s or whenever it was prominent. One of the early multi-level marketing schemes. And then Tupperware. And now there's so many of them. I've been part of I've been a party of 2 different multi-level marketing pyramid schemes. I was a temporary, well, I was an attempted recruit of Arbonne, the cosmetics and beauty line. I think they're still kicking on, because I'm pretty sure the woman who tried to recruit me, I'm pretty sure she's still recruiting. She's still managing hers. But she's one of those examples of someone who they buy into the cult of it all. So they are very much into how amazing it is and oh my god, this is life-changing. But they've actually put the time in to make it something. So even if they come across as kooky, zany people who are effectively following a cult, she's actually made a ton of money from it. So like, good on her. But yeah, she's like a regional VP, or she was last time I checked. So she's doing pretty damn well. But and like got the Mercedes and all these things that came from it. But I couldn't do that. So she tried to recruit me. She turned up at my house. She was a lawyer that I used to work with. And she, after I well and truly left, she reached out to me and said that she always appreciated my spunky attitude and how much I could like really like work with people and negotiate to get things done and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know where it was coming from because I didn't really know about these sort of pyramid schemes at the time. And luckily I kind of felt it was a bit out of the ordinary that she came to me. And I was like, I
must protect my investment.
I was kind of like, that's very flattering, thank you. But I also knew that there was a bit of a catch to it. And then she started to try and sell me the product. So she like brought a few to my house. I don't know why I gave her my address, but anyway. She came to my house with a few Arbonne products, like a few men's ones. And she's like, yeah, we definitely need more men on the team because, you know, there's definitely products for men and they just need to know that there's someone who can champion the products. And pretty quickly I was like, oh, this is not for me. I'm not going to be selling for you. I'm sorry. Actually, no, I've been part of three schemes. So Arbonne was more just an intro. I didn't actually sign on. The other one, yeah, I'm not either. Like, I feel like I could do it if I had to, but I don't want to do it. And I feel gross about it. But, so they've just teleported me to a place in the mortal world where I need to go and collect bees and honey. Yeah, I feel like yeah, I don't feel like I could. I feel like I could if I had to, but yeah. So that was that one. The other one that got me on, which was actually earlier than the Arbonne thing, I'm pretty sure, was a guy that I was kind of into for a little while. Age-old story. We had a bit of a friendship and stuff, and we hung out a couple of times. And he used to do doTERRA oils. Now, out of all of them, doTERRA is the one where I actually would have kept on if I could be bothered. Because I actually really love essential oils, so I would have happily bought my own product. And to be honest, I'm still not against the idea of maybe finding someone else who sells them and buying the oils from them because they were pretty good quality. So those oils were really nice. And I'm like I probably haven't mentioned this in stream before, but Eva knows this about me. But I'm definitely like an apothecary witch. I'm definitely like a white witch in my way of carrying on. Like, I've always got like tinctures and little oils and little remedies. And I've got like, I'm not actually a white witch. I joke and say that I basically lived the life of a white witch. Though I do find magic very interesting, like the whole concept, like the Wiccan and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not a practicing person. But I've always got like healing implements. Like there's always a bag in my bag that's got like, you know, healing stuff, where it's band-aids or medications that people can take, or, you know, all that sort of stuff. I'm always like the chemist amongst people. So yeah, the essential oils, I would have continued that. It's just that I couldn't afford to at the time. And I also didn't want to sell it. I am the pharmacy. I'm legitimately my workplaces have always called me the chemist, because or the pharmacy, because there is legitimately, in any work bag I've ever had, there is always like a little baggie or a little box of some kind, and I keep a packet of band-aids. I keep a packet of paracetamol, Panadol. I keep ibuprofen, because, you know, you can get those easily in the chemists. I always have some kind of a gastro stop style medication, so Imodium or anything like that, because I've always had situations where either me or somebody else comes to me and says, oh hey, you know, I've got a really, you know, upset stomach, blah blah blah. I always try to have at least one thing for stomach cramps, because over the years I've had a lot of female friends who go through their monthly troubles, and the cramps are so unreal that they just need to take something. So I keep like a Buscopan. I don't know if that's medication in America, but for us it's like a stomach cramp medication. I always have lavender oil, peppermint oil, and tea tree oil in my bag. I don't know if tea tree is something else in America, but in Australia it's a very common one. Because peppermint oil is great when someone's got a headache. I love to just dab it on their temples a little bit. Lavender, great for anxiety, which I take. I sniff that a lot myself, for my own anxiety. And I've started collecting other oils like clove oil and things like that if somebody has a toothache. Yeah, that's the intention. That's the whole point of it. So I have lavender in a few methods. I have a few loose lavender leaves that I try to get at all times. I always have a bottle of the essential oil that I can dab on my skin as a topical treatment. And I'll either put it behind my ears. If you ever see me on a stream where I'm sitting there and I'm just randomly like looking like I'm rubbing the back of my ears a lot, it's probably because I'm dabbing an essential oil on. And I'll only do that if I'm either feeling a bit anxious or if I'm feeling a bit unwell and I'm kind of trying to distract myself. I'll dab a bit of lavender or peppermint oil behind my ear just to try and like soak it into my skin a little bit. Because I'm always dousing myself with that shit. And then I also have a lavender spray. So it's pure lavender oil with a bit of something else in it. And I just spray that on my pillow. And it's really nice when I want to sleep a bit quicker. It's not strong enough like a sleeping tablet, but it's strong enough that it kind of helps lull me a little bit. But yeah, so that's the baseline. That's just the base of what's in my bag at all times. Not that I give it out to other people, but I do also have my spare stocks of like Ritalin and a few of the other medications I've taken before. And some like anti-nausea stuff as well. So that's why I say I'm basically the apothecary or the chemist. I probably wasn't that into it. I mean, I don't think I was that strong with it all when I lived with Eva. I don't think I had such a collection back then. I didn't really know. I mean, I knew about essential oils and stuff at that point, but like, I didn't know how accessible you could get them from your local pharmacy at the time. So I probably didn't have as much of a kit back then. But now it's like a full-on first aid kit. Yeah, absolutely a witch doctor. I have joked. I'm either the white witch, the witch doctor, the apothecary, the plague doctor, whatever you want to call me. Or bruja, if I go a bit Latin with it all. Not that I'm, you know, I don't have any Latin background, but yeah, if I'm going like Latin, I go bruja. It almost makes me want to like look into like Wiccan like healing magic and stuff. I'm all into that shit, but like I don't know enough about it to say that I am into it, if that makes sense. Like I wouldn't want to besmirch people who actually do it seriously, but I would absolutely look into it if I had the mental acuity to look into it properly. Yeah, and that's the thing. And there was a time for a long time, actually I need to restock just in case. There was actually a long time where I actually keep feminine products in my bathrooms at my house as well. So I'd always have pads and tampons and stuff in my house at all times just in case. And I haven't had a female live in my house, in a house with me since Eva. But yeah, ever since like a certain point in time, I used to have that stuff on hand. Even if it wasn't the right sizes for people, like even just having it as an in case. Because I'm sure in a scenario where you don't have a choice otherwise, you're just going to be like, look, honestly, I'll just use what's there. But yeah, so I try to have that stuff too. Yeah, exactly.
Everything I've done.
It's better than you having to look for like alternative things to meet the same standard.
Our work has just begun.
And it has come in handy a couple of times. Like there have been a few women who have either stayed with me for a night here or there or whatever. And you know, yes, chemists can be open to a little bit later, but save them the embarrassment or the hassle. And one thing I used to do a lot when I used to travel for work is I definitely would take those the little mini like shampoos and stuff, and I'd bring them home and use them as like a bit of a, like my guest bathroom. But then only when there was nice products, because not every hotel has nice products, but work would always put me in nice places for work, because, you know, obviously it's like a corporate situation. So they'd always put me in like a Hilton or a W hotel or something like that. So I'm getting quality places. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to just like bring a lot of these home, because if I have a guest stay over, it can feel like a bit of like a spa experience. I haven't done that for a long time because yeah, 1000%. And I always make friends with the staff, like the house attendants, the room attendants. I always make a good rapport with them because my mum and my grandmother both have worked in that industry when I was younger. So I have such respect for the work that they do in hotels and motels. And also just because these are the people that are like sorting your room out if you let them, you know, like you want to be on their good side. So like, you don't want to be rude to these people because they probably don't earn enough in the first place. Because, you know, those wages are probably very shit, regardless of which country. So, like, I'm like, first of all, I'm here to show you that I appreciate you. I'm here to make sure that you don't turn on me. And I'm also here because if I want some extra products, I'm going to sweet talk you at the end of it. And I'm not fake about it. I will be honest. I'll say, hey, like, I would really love some extra products if you'd be willing to give me some. And because I've already built that rapport and know their name or whatever... The next day, I'll find in my room they've given me like 20 of them. I'm just like, fuck yeah. And especially when I used to go to the W hotel for work, I don't know if it's a common thing across all the W's, but the one that I used to go to, they had, there was like a big brand trend with lemon products. So like they'd have little mini bars of soap that were lemon infused, like lemon oil infused. They'd have like a shampoo and a conditioner mix that had lemon and oil in it as well. So I don't know if it was like their ongoing brand or if it was just a temporary partnership with some company. But I'll say, like, they were amazing. Like, I used to get so many of those products.
What is more valuable than home?
So yeah, I'm definitely a resourceful person when I can be. But now that I don't go anywhere anymore, it's really hard because, like, I'm not a social person these days other than, like, online social. So I don't really, excuse me, I don't really venture out to hotels very often anymore. And work don't bother trying to send me places because they know I'll just say I'm too anxious to travel. And I don't tend to have a lot of guests over anymore because I just refuse to have them. I'll have them over in a small social capacity, but I'm not inviting people to stay weekends and stuff like I used to. But the people I would invite, they're people that live close enough that they can go home anyway. Like, they don't need to stay over. It'd be different if it was someone from interstate or, like, overseas or something. That's a different situation. But anyone I would invite these days, like, Eva lives 40 minutes away, you know, conservatively with a bit of traffic, maybe a bit longer. And plus, I'm sure she would just want to be home in her own bed at times. You know, any of my family, they all live close enough that they don't need to be staying here. And my family and friends also know that I'm not getting them an invite to my house if they're going to get drunk. Like, if we have a bit of a drinks night, I ain't having them over if they get drunk. Like, I'm not letting them stay because I ain't dealing with somebody potentially vomiting because of my vomit phobia. So they don't even know they know not to even ask or assume. They know that if there's any copious alcohol being drank, that's fine, but you're not getting a ticket to stay here. You can Uber home. I know that sounds harsh, but like, it's my phobia, so people know that. Yeah, you're not social either. Fair enough. But this is the thing. It's not so much of it's not a personal thing to anybody. They just all know in my life that I have a very severe vomit phobia, so they know that they wouldn't push the boundary. But like, because like Eva and I, even when we lived together, like we would have some drinks every now and then, but we weren't getting sloshed. Like we weren't drinking full bottles at a time. Because I can't do that anymore. Like I just don't have it in me to do that. But yeah, we weren't doing it for that reason, you know. The point is to enjoy it, not to feel sick from it, you know. I mean, that being said, I'm sure Eva does like a little bit of a tipsy night out, and power to her. But yeah, I can't do that. Not anymore. My days of that have well and truly subsided. In my younger days, I'd get shit-faced and drank, but only once or twice. Well, that's good. See, I never actually did throw up, but I think that's, again, my vomit phobia kicking in, because my brain and my body would be very much in alert mode. Like, don't you overdrink because you will vomit. So I got close a couple of times, I think, but I managed to anxiety myself out of it. So I've never officially been sick on alcohol. I've just felt very hungover. Oh, I had one. I'm going to tell the story because I'm in the mood to tell stories about the past, but also it makes me laugh. Like it makes me gross if I talk about it in a certain way, but if I avoid certain phrasing, it makes me feel not so gross. But basically, I think I've mentioned in the past that I like to sing, and I've talked about it before. And I used to do singing lessons when I was younger, but I felt that I wasn't getting what I needed out of the lessons. I felt that they were more like a jam session rather than an actual singing lesson. And I actually had auditioned for the X Factor. I know America had it for a couple of seasons, but the X Factor was bigger in the UK and Australia. Basically Australia, like Idol, but just a different show that Simon Cowell ran himself. And I auditioned for the X Factor in Australia a couple of times. Actually, Eva came with me to one of them. She spent the whole day with me, which was so sweet of her. And we just hung out in the line together while I was waiting. Didn't get past the producers. It was just a normal audition situation. But I didn't think I was going to make it to the sort of the proper live auditions, but I wanted to give it a go just in case, because I'm not that professional. Like, I definitely have a lot of work to do. Even at this age, I still have a lot of work to do vocally. But you know, you don't know until you try. And they actually said to me in the room, and I'm sure that they weren't just trying to make me feel better, they actually said, you've got a good quality of your voice, you've got a great tone and pitch. The only thing that we feel like you need is a lot more confidence, and we feel like you need to get more live experience, because we can sense that this is new for you. So that was their feedback both times, 2 years in a row. And obviously they didn't remember me from the previous time because I didn't get far enough. So I was like, you know what, I'm happy with that. Like, even though I know I'm not a professional, like I don't have the best voice in the world, which, you know, good, fine. But like, I was pleased by the fact that they weren't like, you're not cut out for this or you're dreadful. It was more of a, here's what you need to work on. And so in the process of that, I decided, well, how am I going to get live experience? Because like, you don't get it until you actually find something. So I was like, do I go for a band? Like, do I try to find a band that's looking for a singer? Or do I, you know, try and just audition for things? Like, what do I do? And I had no idea, because I was like, where do I start? And somehow I came onto the idea of a choir or like a chorus or something like that. And so I found out that there was in the queer community, there was one called the Melbourne Gay and Lesbian Chorus. And they are a Melbourne-based choir, and they've got like a mixture of young and old members, and they do like different age groups, and they did a youth chorus. So it was a mixture of like ages up until 30, and they had two groups. They had the main chorus and the youth chorus. And the youth chorus, the way they had it set up is that you could be part of both. And I happened to find this group, I think it was like 28, 29, maybe a bit younger. And I managed to sign up for it, and I actually got in. I don't think it was like a big extension. I can't remember. I don't think it was like a big audition process, but they accepted me. And I managed to find out that I'm more of a tenor in my singing quality. So I was like, okay, that's good. I didn't know that. And yeah, so I joined both the youth and the main chorus because I was like, I want the most experience I can get out of this. It was a very entertaining group because there was absolutely a lot of personalities. You know, you think just a singing group to begin with. Like if you've ever watched Glee, it was very much Glee on steroids. And then you add in the queer community, which, you know, lots of very different personalities among that community. A lot of divas, a lot of people who they need their identity to be known. So like they need to be shouting it from the rooftops, and power to them. You know, good on ya. Like the whole point of this group is to like let everybody be their best selves. So cool. But that wasn't my way of it. Like I very much am. I like to think I'm like a very down to earth person. You know who I am because I'm going to tell you. Like we'll talk about it, or you'll find out things. But like, I don't necessarily parade my life in a way that like shout it from the rooftops, you know, whether it's my identity or my, you know, my lifestyle, whatever it is. But yeah, no judgment. They were all like really nice. But the problem I found was the youth chorus was like Glee in that everyone was fighting for like top honors, and they were all like wanting solos and fighting for solos, which is again fine. And I was like on the older end of the spectrum of the group, so I felt a bit too old for them sometimes. Like it was anywhere from like 20 to 30 basically, but a lot of them were very young in their attitudes as well. Even if they were 25 or 26, they still seemed very young, like a bit juvenile. And I'm all for being there and supporting people in times of crisis, but because of the nature of the age of them and they're learning their identities as queer people or whatever it might be, every week was like a Dr. Phil episode. It was almost like we're there to sing, but like we spent more time talking about their personal problems and their natural identities and who they feel they are. And again, love it, love your journey, but like I'm here to sing. Like I don't want to talk about, you know, you're having troubles with identifying with, you know, your queer identity in this space. Like have a chat afterwards or beforehand, you know? So I got a bit shitty about that. It was a bit problematic. I was like, this isn't therapy. Go see a therapist or talk to somebody in the group elsewhere. And then the main chorus was fine, but the problem we had there was it was a lot of different ages. So you had anything from 20 to, you know, retirement age. And so you'd have a mixture of like the old gays and the old lesbians and the old, you know, bi people, whoever they were. And they had like a chip on their shoulder that the young ones are too much of an upstart. And then the young ones are always like, oh, these old people are so crabby. Oh my God. And I mean, granted, the chorus, like the youth chorus had maybe, you know, 10 to 15, maybe 20 people maximum who would show up. You know, some people would come some weeks, some would come all weeks, whatever. And the main chorus had about 40 people. So you think about this, many people, everyone with attitudes and divas and whatever, all crammed in one church hall because we borrowed like a United Church hall as part of our lessons. Oh my God. So yes, it was tiring. Anyway, long way to get to the actual story. So at the end of the first year, we had a concert. It was a marriage equality concert because this is before Australia and even I think America. I can't remember when America got marriage equality, but yeah, 2014 it was. And Australia still wasn't legally allowing gay marriage or marriage amongst same-sex partners. We didn't get that till 2017. And so like our what's it called? Our chorus, the what's it called? The choir, we actually used to do like lots of performances in the city and like protest with the peaceful protesting about it. Like we did a lot of stuff in that year. But anyway, we had a concert and it was themed as like a gay wedding. It was called My Big Gay Wedding. And it was like we did lots of tongue-in-cheek sort of performances and stuff. It was really fun. And I invited my family and I had a few friends come. And the at the end of the event, my family all went home and stuff. That was all good. And I decided to go to the after party. This is why the story relates to what we're talking about. Just took me a very long time to get there. And so the after party was nearby the venue. And the venue was at... We've got a place in Melbourne in Australia called the State Library. And it's basically like this massive... What it suggests, it's a massive library, but it's got like the largest catalogue of like books and stuff like that. And it's where a lot of students will go to kind of get access to knowledge books that they probably couldn't get easily in their own libraries. It's also like a really well-renowned place. So we did it there as part of their function hall. But the venue that we went to do our after party was not far away. Now, at the time, I lived... this is before I lived with Eva. I lived far out east of Melbourne. So, like, the furthest you can get geographically before you become part of the regional part of Melbourne or Victoria. And so it's a decent travel. And I lived not far from my choir leader. So each of the sections, the tenors, the sopranos, the altos, blah, 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 we each had a choir leader. And mine lived not far from my house. So he said to me before the after party, oh, look, considering the kind of night it's going to be, would you like a lift home when we're done? And I said, yes, I'd love a ride. That'd be great. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, we'll probably be there for a few hours, but like, we'll just let you know when we're good to go and you can come with. And I said, yep, sounds good. So my housemates, because I had a house of 5 that I lived in, I was one of 5. I said to them, they asked if I wanted to be picked up. And I said, no, that's fine. Somebody's going to bring me home. No problem. Now, this was before it was like, you know, likely that people would have spare pocket chargers for phones and all this kind of stuff and whatever. I mean, I did have a cell phone or a mobile phone, but we didn't have like... It wasn't a common thing that you would have like a potential spare battery or a spare charger or something like that. So we went to this bar place and like I'm drinking because like, again, it was a big night out. I had such a good time. I wasn't as bad about drinking those days as I was now. Like I wasn't as paranoid about drinking too much. And I'm probably, what, 24 at this point in time? Oh no, 28. I would have been 28, that's right. As I said before. And we had a guest singer for the night. He was a upcoming artist that wanted to do like a collab with us for our marriage equality thing. And he, for some reason, kept buying me drinks. Now, I don't know if he was into me or if he was just being very polite because we got to talk a few times in the few weeks before that. So I don't know. I don't know what the intention was. I was just accepting the drinks. We didn't do anything. But I was like, hey, even if it's just you being polite, I'm going to welcome it. So I was like, yep, cool, drinks, sweet. And this bar had a promotion where they were doing something with this particular vodka brand. So they were giving you ginger beer or ginger ale or whatever in a German Stein, like one of those big cups or whatever, with vodka. So it was ginger beer, ginger ale, whatever, with vodka. I love vodka. So I was like, hell yeah. And I'm drinking like 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And then the guy Elliot bought me another one and then bought me another one. And I'm a heavy set dude. So I can take a little bit, I could back in the day take a bit more liquor than the average person. These days I'm a lightweight because I really don't drink much. So I had quite a few and I don't recall how many, but I obviously had enough that they actually did a promotion that depending on how many you ordered, they gave you a free tank top with the name of the vodka brand on it as a promotional thing. I must have drank enough because they gave me 2 of those singlets, those tank tops, and they gave me the beer stein or the alcohol stein that came with it. So I must have had enough. Like, I just don't know. Anyway, and Elliot disappeared at one point, so I don't know if he was still there or he left or whatever. So I'm getting plied with alcohol, and the guy that like potentially was flirting with me disappeared, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, and I wasn't acting a mess or anything like that. Like, I was actually pretty level-headed. But this was about probably 1 in the morning, maybe 1:30 in the morning at this point. Because we finished at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and then we went to the dance place, or the bar or whatever. And like, we were having a gay old time, tongue-in-cheek, pun. You know, like I'm dancing and we're doing like fake karaoke with the music blaring out loud and blah, blah, blah. And being singers, we're all naturally singing. And then something twigged. I don't know if it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock. My body just went into oh no mode. I'd stopped drinking at that point and I was trying to drink water, but something just twigged and my body went into the oh no, you feel sick mode. And I felt dreadful. Like, I don't know how I got through the night the way I did. I started to get the sweats. I started to get that stomach feeling, like that upset stomach. Like you don't know if you need to do a number 2 or you need to be sick. And I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do? And then when I go into that phase, which doesn't happen often, well, these days it does because of anxiety. But back then I had to actually be unwell or be drinking a lot for me to get that sensation. And I was like, like most people, when you're feeling sick like that, you don't want to be perceived. You don't want people seeing that that's happening. So I'm like freaking out. So I take myself to the bathrooms. Now, I'm sure it's the same in America, but a lot of our drinking bars don't have very well kept toilets. So the toilets were disgusting. I'm trying not to vomit because, again, vomit phobia. I can't just let it out and be sick. I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't make me feel gross, but so I felt really unwell. I didn't know what to do. I'm far enough from home. It's not just like a short trip or a short walk from where I lived. I would have to have done public transport or be taken home via a car. By public transport, I mean the trains. Or a taxi or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Because like, I can't get home easily without traveling. And if I'm moving too fast when I feel this way, I'm probably going to be sick. So I stood in the toilet for ages. I had a bottle of water that I must have gotten from the bar, and I'm just like sipping it slowly in the toilet cubicle. And naturally the toilet cubicle stinks. It looks disgusting and people keep coming in and out. Anyway, I then realized at about 2 or so in the morning, whatever time it would have been, because I think I was wearing a watch at the time. And by this point, I had sobered up. So the drunken haze aspect had dropped, and now I was in that serious oh no mode. My phone had died, the battery. Because I'd naturally been at this concert for a whole night. Probably hadn't charged my phone since about, 2 in the afternoon at that point. So my phone has no battery. I can't use that item yet. Oh, hey Void, how you going? I'm just telling one of my worst drunken stories. Yeah, I had no phone connection because the phone had dropped out with battery. And also g'day. Thank you for the g'day welcome. I always love getting that. And yeah, so I was really unwell. My phone doesn't have power. This is at a time where we get very complacent with the fact that we just store numbers into our phone. So I had not at that point memorized, well, I never have, but it was well and truly at that point where you just add people's numbers and move on. So I did not know any of my housemates' phone numbers by memory at all, and I had no way of finding out those phone numbers because they were cell phone numbers, not landline directory numbers. So no phone book is going to tell me their number. So I had no way of calling the house to say, hey, I'm unwell, I need someone to come and get me, because I would rather have it been them than some random from my choir. And then not long after that, I'm back in near the bar trying to get more water, and the guy that was offering to drive me home comes up and says, hey, his partner's name, I can't remember what it was. My partner and I are actually ready to go. Are you good to go? I'm like, I can't get in his car, because if I get in that car and he's moving too fast, I'm going to throw up. And I don't want to be the guy that threw up in someone's car. So I said to him, no, it's all right, Andrew, thanks so much. Like, I'll just find my own way home. I'm going to stay here longer. I was pretending that I was having such a good time that I wanted to stay longer. He's like, oh my God, you're a party animal. And I'm like, haha, yeah, I really am. Ha ha ha. So he left with his partner. At that point, I'm like, what do I do? So I start to walk towards our biggest train station, which is not far from where we were. And I went the wrong direction. So if I had turned right, it would have been a 5-minute walk to the main train station. If I had have gone left, like I did, I ended up going the opposite direction away from the city. And I ended up walking through this area in Melbourne that we know as like the University District. It's like our big, like one of our major colleges in Australia or in Melbourne is based here. And it's like all the different like campuses and dorms and stuff of this campus. And it's this massive district. Like it's quite large. I did like a 2-kilometer walk, maybe longer. I think it was actually a 5-kilometer walk, which if I do the conversions, it was about 3 miles. So I did like a full 3-mile walk around this university district and circled back towards the city unintentionally, or intentionally but unintentionally. I'm in, to set the scene, I'm wearing a full suit because it was a wedding theme. Yeah, the walk did sober me up. But I still felt very unwell in the stomach, and that's not good for me, because when I feel that way, I get nauseous, and when I get nauseous, it triggers my phobia. So I'm wearing a full suit for this wedding theme with a bow tie and everything, and I'm wearing like dress shoes, like black dress shoes that are not comfortable. I think I bought them just for that night, so I hadn't broken them in, and they were killing my feet. And I'm drunk, sobering up, whatever. Every time I got to near a bin, I thought I was going to be sick, and then I stopped because a tram, we've got like light rail trams, like they do in San Francisco and other places. One of those would come past every time I thought I was going to be sick near a bin. And I was like, nope, don't do that. Kept walking. Then I got the smart idea to go to a different train station because I thought I remembered that they sold pocket phone chargers in a vending machine. So I walk up to this, I know where I am now. I walk up to this train station. They've closed the roller door for the train station because that train station has now closed for the night because they close at certain times. And I'm like, fuck, okay, well, I can't buy that. I tried to go into a 7-Eleven to see if they sold pocket chargers, but this was before 7-Eleven started selling those. So I was like, well, I can't get one from here. And then I ended up at the train station, the big one that I was supposed to go to before that, 2 hours later. And I managed to get to this train station, and there's a line for the taxis because there's like, this is like one of the biggest taxi ramps you can go to. All the people waiting. So I'm walking further away from the train station in this taxi line. I end up walking another probably 3 miles away from the train station into a different suburb out of the main city, and managed to hail down a cab driver. So this is about 3 or 4 in the morning at this point. And I managed to get home. It cost me 180 Australian dollars, which is very expensive for a cab, as you can imagine. Probably an extra $120 more than it should have cost me, but because of the time of the night, where I got him from, and he probably charged me more for being drunk, because they can put like little extra tabs on your tab if they want. And the whole problem about this whole thing, and I didn't say it purposely in the story, was I was actually supposed to fly the next morning to Sydney, which is a different state, a different city in Australia. I was supposed to fly to Sydney for work on a Sunday because we were opening up a new office on the Monday, and I needed to, because I was part of the help desk at the time, I needed to fly to Sydney on the Sunday to help set up the new office so that way by Monday morning it was good to go. So my boss was arriving there, and I was supposed to arrive there, and we were going to go do the setup together. So I've gone to this after party. I've gotten shit-faced, extremely drunk, felt really sick, managed to get home. My feet are red raw with blisters and sores and cuts and stuff from these shoes. I don't know how I managed to walk that much. I crawled into bed. I had 2 hours to sleep because I had to get up for the airport, or for the cab to go to the airport. I fell out of bed because I couldn't move my legs. So I basically fell onto the hardwood floor of my bedroom. My housemates, well, the 2 guys of my house were awake because they were going golfing that morning. And so they're just laughing at me because they figured out what happened based on everything. And yeah, somehow I managed to get to Sydney on a plane. Managed to go a whole day without eating. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. Like, it was the worst night of my life. And the worst night from the best night, if that makes sense. Like, it was such a fun night up until that point. But the events that led up to it afterwards, I just screwed myself up so bad that, yeah, from a drinking perspective, definitely like the worst night of my life. And I never, since that day, I've never drank that level of drink again, because I'm just like, and I was 28, so that's like 10, what's it called? Yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah, it's 10 years ago, shit. So, Yeah, we don't repeat those things. Even telling the story, I could feel my stomach going, it's alright, you're just telling a story, don't worry. Because I never want to feel that way again. And honestly, I still get like, not muscle memory, but like, you get like that visceral sort of body feeling when you feel a certain way. But anyway. So skipping that now, because that was gross. Void, how are you? Welcome back. Nice to see you. And just fortunate / unfortunate that happened to be the story that you came in on. I'm trying to do all the Oasis questing in Koresh because I want to be up to date with all the Venari stuff. You'll be drinking a bit tonight, speaking of drinking. Hey, you're on holiday. You've deserved it. Absolutely. You don't have to worry about any work deadlines and things like that. What's your drink of choice? I really do like vodka. I like spirits generally. I just like any spirit I can mix with something nice. Interesting. I can't do Jägermeister. I've done it once in my life and I really did not enjoy it. But hey, power to ya. Are you doing it as a Jaeger bomb? That's the only time I've ever seen it. That's the only time I've ever drank it where I didn't hate it. Actually, no, I have had Jaeger a couple of times in that instance then because I've had them as Jaeger bombs. But my first memory of Jägermeister was actually when I turned 18. No, what age did I turn? Maybe it was 21. Yeah, when I turned 21. So in Australia we have 18 is our legal age, like you're an adult at 18 and you can get your license, like your full license for cars and everything. But 21 is still seen as a bit of a rite of passage even though you're an adult at that point. Jaeger bombs do make a mess, absolutely. But for my 21st, I still threw a party, even though it's not as, exciting as when you turn 18. And yeah, the barman, when we said I turned 21 and can we have a free drink, he gave me Jägermeister on its own. I was like, really? Mix it with something at least. He just gave me a full glass of Jaeger, and I was like, oh. I drank it, but God, it was gross on its own. Was not a fan. But yeah, I'm usually I like a vodka as a base for a spirit. I love my bourbon with cola or Coke generally. I like dark rum, but I also like white rum. And in the last few years, I've kind of really gotten onto spiced rum. So I really like making like a dark and stormy. So like spiced rum, ginger ale, and some lime squeezed into it. Yeah, I can't do pure Jaeger. Ugh, that one time was enough. I felt so ill after drinking that. And it wasn't because of drunk. It was just because it tasted foul. I kind of equate it to somebody pulled out the weeds out of your garden and they soaked it in some strong alcohol for a couple of days, and that's your Jaeger. But yeah, no, I'm pretty much good with most spirits, to be honest. Because yeah, I like my white rum, I like my dark rum, I like my bourbons and whiskeys and stuff like that. I'm not a connoisseur. Like I don't need it to be like artisanal or anything like that. Like I'm just like cheapest possible shit you can give me, the better. Because then I don't feel bad about mixing it with random things. And I used to love drinking tequila. It's not so much that I don't like drinking it anymore. It's just I don't really feel the mood to drink it. But I also like liqueurs and stuff. Like I love a melon flavored liqueur or something like Maduri. I love Maduri. And I love coconut white rum, Malibu. That's really nice if you have like a really nice fruit juice, like a guava juice or something. And if I'm traveling, I like a lot of cocktails, like just really yummy cocktails. Like I love a strawberry daiquiri, especially in Bali. Oh, they're so good in Bali. Hot weather, you got like a nice slushy strawberry alcoholic drink that doesn't taste like it's alcoholic. They're dangerous because you can have a few of them and you go, oh, okay, I'm feeling that now. Yeah, strawberry daiquiris are great. And in Bali, the bars that we'd go to in Bali, they always make them so nice. And most of my family will drink them. So like they're pretty, the bar people know us so well at that particular bar that they'll be like, because my family go like practically every year to Bali. So there's like a round of strawberry daiquiris for everyone. Yay. But yeah, they're so good. It's funny, speaking of daiquiris, I've had so many random stories over my life. When I was 17, I went to Queensland, which is the sort of the northernmost state on the east side of Australia. And I went with my family for like a 2-week holiday or whatever it was. And my grandfather happens to live in Queensland, even though my grandmother, who he's been separated with since I was a kid or since I was born, she lives down here where we are, but he lives up north in Queensland. And they've got like their relationship is kind of like, she definitely hates him and definitely doesn't like feel anything for him, but she's also kind of like buried the hatchet in terms of her hate against him. So she can be around him, but she can also call him a fuckwit and be happy about it. You know, for the sake of the family, so, you know, he has a relationship with the kids and stuff. Like, she's not like, don't talk to him, but she's also like, he's a dickhead. Which, fair enough, because we all generally agree. But anyway, he had an invite to a boat party, like a party on a yacht or whatever. I don't know how he got the invite. He must just know the person or have connections to the person. But it was somebody's like 70th birthday or 60th birthday or whatever, and he wanted to take me because his partner, who we've accepted in the family, she can't handle being on a boat. Like, she gets really bad seasickness, even if it's a steady boat on the water. So he decided to take me to this party, and I'm 17, so I shouldn't have been going to a drinking party, like a party with licensed alcohol and stuff, but he took me anyway. And he said to me, look, you can pass for 20. So like, as in, because I had facial hair and, you know, broad shoulders and stuff. He said, they won't card you. He said, it's a private party on a yacht. They're not going to ask you for your ID. So I was like, okay, fine. And it turned out it was the guy who ran the daiquiri machines. So you know how like you can get like the slushy machines? The guy's name, or his nickname is Mr. Daiquiri. I don't know if it's still a thing anymore. I'm just looking it up quickly. Mr. Daiquiri. I don't know if it's still a thing anymore. But it was in the 2000s, like the early to mid 2000s. Ran van Onvergel. Maybe he was the Australian Mr. Daiquiri, because I don't think this guy's Aussie. Yeah, I don't think that's the same guy. I'm pretty sure my guy was like an older Lebanese man. But anyway, he was referred to as Mr. Daiquiri in Australia because he actually marketed the machines that would do the keep it chilled and keep it mixing so it was slushy. And so he had a brand chain of these machines. And oh wow, there you go. Co-founder of Home Depot. That's massive. I mean, we don't have Home Depot in Australia or anything like that, but we're aware of Home Depot. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so this guy was having like a big celebration for his birthday, but he was well known in industry circles as, like I said, the guy that ran like the Australian, whether he was just the Australian arm of the business or whether he was actually the creator of the invention, I don't know. But anyway, so it was a very fancy event. And all I remember is they were serving a lot of daiquiris because of the fact that it was Mr. Daiquiri, and they had the machines running all night. but they had a belly dancer because he was of Lebanese descent. They made it a very Lebanese style party. So he had all the usual foods and things you'd expect. You know, people doing shisha or the hookahs or whatever with the, like the, what's it called? The flavored tobaccos and stuff that in different corners. And they had a belly dancer. Now, the weirdest thing about the whole night was my granddad threw me into the circle to dance with her because he was like, you're a young boy. You can have a dance with the belly dancer. So I'm this like 17-year-old boy drinking, like young man, because I wasn't yet an adult. I was probably only like a month away from my birthday. So like, we're not like talking, you know, years earlier, but I was like a few months off being an adult. And, yeah, I've been thrust into this circle to dance with this belly dancer, drinking alcohol earlier than I was legally allowed to in a public place, or private yacht anyway. Oh, such a random night. I wouldn't say it was my most enjoyable night, because as a queer kid, I was like, oh, I don't want to dance with the belly dancer. Like, she's a beautiful woman, and God, she's talented, but like, that's not my interest. Like, I'm not lusting for this woman. So it's probably actually better that she was dancing with me, because she didn't have some pervy little teenager trying to grope her, but like, she's like trying to get me to like put my hands on her hips, and I'm like not wanting to objectify her or anything like that, so I'm trying to be respectful. And she legitimately grabbed both my hands and was like, put them here. And she's like, and I think she kind of gathered pretty quickly what was going on, but she was like, you know, she wasn't going to spoil the surprise, so she was like, yeah, that's all right. And she thanked me for the dance later, and I was like, oh God, this is so embarrassing. Because I definitely wouldn't say I'm like a great dancer. Like, I can move a little bit to save myself, and at a wedding I can manage, but yeah, I'm not a dancer. Especially not belly dancing. Like, God, I definitely don't have the talent for that. I have the belly, just not the dance. But anyway. Oh my God, so many random stories. Now I want a daiquiri, and I'm not even in the mood for alcohol. And I love a mocktail. Oh my God, do I love a mocktail? Because they can get so inventive, and they don't have to worry about it being expensive, because it's just, you know, non-alcoholic products. But the funny thing is, my stories come from my younger years, because they're not stories I have these days. Like, most of my stories now are how I cope with anxiety, how I managed to avoid throwing up, how my workplace was acting. Not this current workplace, but previous ones. Like, that being said, I do get some interesting corporate stories, like, my God, the shit I see in workplaces over the last 20 years. But yeah, no, that was all my younger years, because that's when I used to actually be social, because I didn't realize I could say no, and I didn't realize that it would wear me out. I just thought everyone got that tired after being forced to be social. And then I realized, no, that's actually a sign that you're an introvert. Especially when I had friends that could like go all day and night and continue the next morning at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, no, I need a whole weekend to recover. But Snommies, I'm sure you've got stories. They might not be like over the top stuff, but I'm sure you've got plenty of interesting stories that you could be telling. Everyone's got a story. Actually, that reminds me, that's a podcast I want to do really badly, and I'm saying it verbally on a stream, so if somebody tries to copyright it later, I can say, you bitch, you stole my idea. I've always wanted to do a podcast called like Anything But Ordinary or something like that, where I just interview like textbook standard people, like people who just have ordinary jobs, you know, good jobs, or, you know, remarkable lives in that way, but like they're not celebrities, they're not famous, they're not internet famous, they're just everyday people. And I want to be able to like ask them questions as if they were a celebrity. So like pull together a massive question list that's the same for every guest, and like model it off shows like, you know, Inside the Actors Studio, or like a Graham Norton sort of show, or those sort of chat shows. But like pick the best questions out of the bunch, and then every guest on my podcast would have the same questions. So it'd be like, tell me about where you were born. You know, tell me about your family. You know, how did school go for you? Were you ever bullied? Like, you know, you go through all these stories. Obviously, you would vet it with the person beforehand to make sure you're not going to trigger them with anything bad. But yeah, and like the intention back then, because I came up with the idea probably about 5 years ago, when I did another podcast that didn't really go too far. It was called Shenanigans, and I think one episode still exists because I couldn't delete the whole thing, but I'm going to revamp it to something else. But yeah, I really want to do Anything But Ordinary because the lyric is coming from a song that I loved from Avril Lavigne called Anything But Ordinary, and I really love that name. But yeah, and it'd kind of be like... effectively, the intention was to show individuals that their lives can be considered exciting. Because, like, even Snommy saying, I wish I had stories like that. Like, I'm sure if I put together... if I put you to a standard questionnaire of what I would ask anybody out of this sort of podcast, I'm sure I'd be able to pull out some really interesting nuggets of info. And, you know, obviously, like I said, like, we would absolutely, you know, take things out if there was anything that was either hard to talk about or people don't want to share that to the general public. But, like, that's the idea. It's kind of like you don't need to be a celebrity to have a good story, you know? So maybe I will do that still. I don't know. I just need to, like, plan it better because, like, ADHD is a real thing that... I mean, not that you don't agree that it's a real thing, but what I mean is it's a real mofo when it comes to trying to be this kind of productive because I really will come up with great ideas, but then putting them into motion is just like, bruh. But yeah, maybe there is some legs on that one. Yeah, 100% me too. I started when my partner moved out of my house recently. I said to him, as part of this whole setup that we're doing, I'm going to get so much better with my meal prepping. And I did. For the first 2 weeks, I was amazing. I'd made all the meals. I stuck to the meals every day. And now I'm kind of dwindling back to some bad habits. And I'm like, no. So tomorrow I'm going to go do a big grocery shop and try and buy some more good stuff again. But yeah, you have all these ideas and it's just like, nah. Or you do start it and then the habit doesn't stick because you don't do it long enough that the habit doesn't kick in. That's my problem. I hyperfixate and I'm really good and I'm like, yeah, beautiful. This is actually something I can maintain. And then shiny things. Or laziness. Yeah. And it sucks because like but at least my experience, and I'm sure a lot of other people share this, but it makes me feel like a trash human sometimes because I'm like, why can't I stick to things? And like, why can't I commit to things? And why can't I hold on to this stuff? And I know I'm not a trash human, but in the moment, it doesn't not make me think that way, if that makes sense. But yeah. So, but the beauty is like something like Twitch, for example, I've maintained this as a habit for a month or so because there's other people on the other side of it. So it's almost like I allow you to make me feel obligated to do it. I don't see it as an obligation is what I'm trying to avoid saying. It's not an obligation. It doesn't feel like a chore, but the knowledge that other people will like want to see me online and want to be involved and make sure that, you know, if they've subscribed that they're getting the most out of their, you know, investment, like it kind of almost unintentionally in a good way bullies me into keeping up with it. Because if I wasn't getting the engagement that I do, I'd be like, oh, well, then it's not worth continuing on because like nobody's really caring if I do it or don't. But now, like through the awesome Eva community and, you know, the continued community and the people I've managed to kind of engage with separately, like now it's like, you know, now you have a purpose to do it. Like you actually have a reason to stick with it, you know? So that's kind of what I'm aiming for if I do a podcast is I've got to get enough momentum on it, maybe bank up enough episodes before I start launching it, because then I can kind of go, well, you've already done the groundwork for quite a bit, so you may as well finish it or continue it. Because the questions would be really fun too. Like I said, I'd be borrowing from my favorite chat shows over the last 20, 30 years. And the American show Inside the Actors Studio was awesome because it was like, he'd ask these celebrities questions that they were never really asked on normal shows before because they were usually just on shows and chat shows to promote something in the moment. Whereas he would give them like a questionnaire that would ask them about their entire lives. And at the end, he would give them like a rapid fire round. And one of the questions, which I love, because it really tells you about somebody's mental, like the way they think and the way they are, he'd ask them what their favorite curse word was. And I think that is such a great question to ask any random person, because it gives you an idea into how they think. Like, oh, I can fly. Okay. Yeah, it kind of makes you think about them as a as a human being and not a celebrity. And that's where I would love to be able to talk to my random everyday people and be like, you know, I want to know what word makes you really happy to be able to curse, you know? And that's obviously only going to ever be one question out of, 20 to 30, but, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If we do it, we do it. If we don't, then it was just an idea. And now that you both know about it, if it ever becomes a thing, just be prepared. You might get tapped on the shoulder. Obviously, I wouldn't force somebody to feel obligated to do it. That can be a subscriber prize. Like, if you subscribe, you get an option to be a guest on the podcast.
There you are. Good. There are
Although that
many
might make
that
some
have
people
been
not want to
waiting
do
for
it.
your arrival. Please see to their completion.
Some people would be like, I'm not subscribing. I don't want to do it.
I must protect my investment.
See, Void, this is where I would vet things beforehand. And if I would find out, well, I'd be recording it, but obviously I'd be doing a lot of editing as well. But I would be finding this out first, and if they said it, I would be like, all right, well, I'm going to need you to use a different word in the podcast just because that's not appropriate.
Our work has just begun. Put your hopes in the trust.
But yeah, could you imagine, especially if I was recording it
What is more
live?
valuable than home?
Holy crap. That would just end my podcast in one fell swoop. But hey, if I had someone, and this is the thing, if I had someone who was black and they use that word comfortably, I would allow it in that space. Like, I would allow it, like, if they are comfortably saying it, as long as it's not me saying the word and me not, like, advocating for the word. But yeah, if it was their word, just like I would absolutely allow a gay person on my podcast to say they like the F slur. Like, if they said that that's their favorite swear word or curse word or slur, and they are themselves a part of the community and can take ownership, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Preach, like, that's your call, But yeah, I definitely would not be allowing a white person to say that word. Never. Not on a podcast. Jesus. Or not even in my stream. No way. Oh, that's just dynamite. That's internet broadcasting suicide, basically.
I am counting on your aid.
May your aim be true. Hey, be safe out there.
Diabolical, absolutely. Far out.
It's a fine day for a hunt. Happy hunting!
If I wanted to ever end my streaming career, that would be the way to do it. Far out. It's just like making me feel sweaty just thinking about it. But that's where, again, the beauty of it being pre-recorded and vetting certain things with certain people. Because again, like, if I'm going to ask someone about their childhood, I don't want to traumatize somebody if they had a really broken childhood and they don't want to talk about it. Like, maybe they haven't done the work they need to get through it. I don't really want to be bringing that on to somebody. So, like, I probably would have, like, say, maybe 30 odd or 30 something questions that I can lean on, but maybe not every guest gets the exact order every time. Like, it might be that I cherry pick which ones I ask them, but, like, they would be from the same list otherwise. Because, yeah, like, I can't guarantee that all guests would be happy talking about childhood, or me asking about their parents and what they did. Like, if they had a really bad situation, like, yeah, I'm not doing that to somebody. So I'd let them kind of say to me, look, these are the questions that are absolutely off the table. And I go, yep, cool, we take those off. We won't even ask them. Obviously within reason. I mean, I can't have somebody do an interview if they're going to not answer any questions at all. But yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think that'd be an issue. I think the people I would pick for it would be very, like, aware of what it's going to be, you know, what kind of thing it's going to be. Just trying to see if I can get rid of any shitty quests. Yeah, I can get rid of those. I really don't need those anymore. Plus, I don't even know if they're relevant anymore. Oh, you can still get an item for it. Interesting. But I have everything I need from it. Yeah, we don't need that. Alright, that's enough quests to get rid of.
May your aim be true.
This is an interesting quest line. I don't know if you've done this, Void, or I think you said that you've kind of burnt out from the previous stuff beforehand. But like this oasis, you're kind of building like an ecological like oasis for Venari, and you're kind of basically restoring the flora and the fauna to make it livable again. But they've found a way to make you go to different mortal zones in Azeroth to kind of make use of the zones. So like I just went to Stormsong Valley before to go get honeybees, since they had the whole bee area. And I guess I'm here to help the Tuskar, just judging by the quest line. I'm doing something to do with Hemet Nessenwary because Venari's a fan of his. And you know if there's a Nessenwary quest that there's going to be a lot of murdering creatures. I don't even remember doing this area when it was the bloody expansion at the time. Oh, nice. I need to do a new delve. I've got the quest for it, but I haven't done any of the new one. Like, I haven't done the new one in this area, in Koresh, and I haven't done any other ones since then. I'm kind of going main character by main character out of the 80s that I've got, and I'm basically confirming, do they have the wraps, the cloak, or do they have the delve belt? And if they don't have either, then I'm going to go get them for both. But tonight is a priest night. Like I'm playing, tailoring. Oh, for Dragon Isles. But yeah, this one, it's more about the priests getting the completion because it's my main for this area. But the storyline in Koresh was pretty good, actually. It was a very short quest line of the main campaign quests. But I can't do the story mode Demencius kill until next week because they haven't unlocked it yet. So they're time gating it as usual. But I am so hyped for the announcement at Gamescom on Tuesday. I saw all the teaser clips they've been posting to YouTube, and it's getting very exciting. I really wonder if they're going to go shocking and have some extreme deaths in the first instance of Midnight. I've got a theory they're going to kill... I'm going to throw my theories out there to any WoW players that are watching at different points. My theories are that Holderon Brightwing from Silvermoon, he's the current Ranger General. I've got a feeling he's going to die in the first initial battle against the Sunwell, or something to do with Silvermoon, because I've got the theory that, based on some things that got leaked a little bit, or potentially leaked, I've got a theory that... yeah, because of that, he's going to die, and then Illyria is going to take up the mantle of Ranger General. Because that's her birthright, and she never did it in the first place. Yeah, that's true. Well, this is definitely what Midnight's going to be. So all the elves of all factions are likely going to band together. So yes, my theory is Illyria will take on the Ranger General and effectively bridge the gap between the Alliance and the Horde a little bit with the elves, because having a Horde Alliance-based Silvermoon Ranger General will be interesting, because it is the Windrunner's legacy to be the Ranger Generals, and Sylvanas only got it because Illyria stepped down and said, no, I don't want it. I was too busy with the Void, the Draenor and the Dark Portal. I've also got a theory that through all this we're going to get High Elves as a playable race. I don't know if it'll be an allied race or a full race, but I've got a feeling that we will get those because I know that we've got the high elf customizations for Belfs and for Void Elves, but Verisa is currently an unused elven player, and she has leadership potential, but she doesn't yet have a class of elves to lead yet. And we are absolutely going to have some kind of Windrunner sister reunion. There is absolutely going to be a situation where Illyria, Sylvanas, and Verisa will be fighting on the same side for once, after all these years. And we know that Sylvanas is she's the former head of the Forsaken before she got cast out. Or she cast herself out, I guess. But I feel like she'll either come back and support the Forsaken in some temporary manner, or she'll take on all the elves and the people that she converted into Dark Rangers through her Battle for Azeroth time. So she'll kind of be leading that effort, the Death Elves, effectively. I feel like we're going to have, obviously, Illyria is going to head the Void Elves like she does now, effectively. And it leaves a gap for Verisa, and really the only elven faction that she can take on that isn't Night Elves, Blood Elves, and the others is going to be High Elves. So I feel like she will be collecting up the remaining High Elf population that survived all the other stuff that went down and didn't become part of Silvermoon, and she'll kind of be leading that charge for the Alliance. There's also been a potential rumor leak that we might get Amani Trolls as a Horde race, because apparently with the revamps to Silvermoon and all of that area, it's going to involve them doing something with Zalaman, the dungeon down there, and there is a likelihood, or sorry, not a likelihood, a rumored leak that the Amani Trolls will finally put aside their differences with the Silvermoon Elves in a means to help protect the land, because there's going to be a big void explosion or something, I guess. So it'll likely be, or potentially be, that the Horde will take on the Amani Trolls as their newest race, which again, likely either an allied race of the Trolls, or it would be a new race altogether, either or. That would make sense if that happens. So that's my theories based on what I've seen and what I believe. Because they also did, I think it was in Italy and a couple of other foreign countries, World of Warcraft released on the international channels that they've got. They introduced a clip of a Blood Elf model in Stormwind, so High Elves, and a Darkspear troll in Orgrimmar, because they probably don't want to release the Amani model if that's going to be a race. And it was the characters talking in the speech bubbles and talking between each other like they were having a conversation in their respective locations. And they were talking about the High Elves and the Amani's history and the fact that they had warred against each other for so long. So it just seems like a really odd time to release that kind of a video if you're not going to be bringing those races into the fold as playable. So they're my theories on that. I also have the theory that Sylvanas is either, and I think we've talked about this before, but my theory, I'm just saying it out loud because next week could be a whole different storyline that we're not aware of. I have the theory that Sylvanas will absolutely be brought back to fight, whether it's Illyria or the player or somebody having to go bring her back. Maybe even Anduin. Maybe that's what Anduin does this expansion, this next bit of time. Maybe his job is to go and collect her, since they have a bit of a history with the whole, tortured souls being kidnapped by the jailer. So she'll be brought back to defend. I am concerned, but I'm also not shocked if they do it, that as part of Sylvanas's redemption, she'll have finished her mission with the Night Elf souls and brought them back from the Shadowlands, like what's her name, Tyrande expected. But I feel like she will be used as a bit of a martyr for the elves, in the sense that she will throw her life in to defend the Sunwell, or the elves at large. And that will be seen as like the ultimate sacrifice, and therefore she will redeem herself among any haters amongst the elven populations. and she'll forever have a legacy of being like the elven champion that she always was before. But I really don't want them to do that. I'd rather them just keep her on, and she just kind of settles into like a bit more of a peaceful existence afterwards. But I know it will make a big cinematic explosion if they do that, so I'm kind of prepared for them to do it, because it's like, far be it from WoW not to milk those moments. But yeah, I hope they don't. I hope they don't kill my Sylvanas, because I really like Sylvanas. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, so as part of this whole expansion reveal, I hope Illidan finishes up being the jailer for Sargeras and comes back. Yeah, absolutely. Because he's with the Pantheon at the moment still, isn't he? He went to go ride the Pantheon battle cruiser with the remaining, whatever they are, gods, whatever they are. Titans, things. But yeah, I feel like I feel like what's going to happen, the tie-in to Warcraft, to the Midnight expansion, what we're going to see next week on the reveal trailer, I feel like it's going to be that Xalatath, because the little teaser that we've gotten so far is like showing Stormwind upside down and Orgrimmar, whatever, and it shows all these locations being hit with void energy. I feel like what's going to happen is, knowing that they want the Sunwell, I've got a feeling that that's going to be the pre-patch, that we're going to have like a massive void explosion outside of Stormwind. So basically like, where are we talking? So we're talking like Eversong Woods. I feel like the void is going to like explode around here. Hang on, if I go to the Ghostlands just for a second. Oh, does it let me go to the Ghostlands? Yeah, Ghostlands. Jesus Christ, what is it doing here? Yeah. So I've got a theory that the void is going to hit somewhere between Eversong and the Ghostlands, if not both. And we'll have to go to those zones once they've been revamped. And we'll have to go and stop different pockets of void. Because it's usually a very common thing over the previous expansions that if it's a big force like the Undead, the Scourge, the whatever, the Legion, whatever, they'll usually do those, what's it called? The invasions, like the incursions. So I feel like there'll be pockets of both Ghost Moon and the Ghostlands and Eversong. I feel like there's going to be little incursion zones, and we'll have to go to them and pick up the currency that we'll get for the pre-patch. And I feel like that's why the Zalaman trolls will be brought into the Horde, because they'll be kind of defending Zalaman from the void. And it'll probably become a new revamped dungeon or raid that you'll have to do with the void taking over. So I feel like that's all going to happen. And then as part of that, it's going to be like a big battle in the initial first patch against Xalatath and the void, because they'll start making a march on Silvermoon. And whether or not that means that Silvermoon will get trashed, and we'll have to have, you know, a new hub around here for the factions, together or separately. Or if somehow they rebuild Dalaran and teleport it a third time, or a second time. But yeah, it's either going to be that Silvermoon gets trashed, or we are the last line of defense in Silvermoon because the Sunwell is under threat. Because I feel like that's going to be very early on in the expansion, whether that's pre-patch or whether that's first season. I feel like that's going to be the big attack, because I can't imagine it's going to be the final part of the expansion, because the fact that they have really revealed a lot of what's going to kind of be happening without revealing it properly, I feel like telling us that the Sun Moon is a target is going to be very much like early days, and we'll either lose it, so it'll get taken over and the whole world will be enveloped in void, and then we have to fight it in different ways, or I don't know, or we end up in the Dark Heart for like a period of time to fight, you know, Xalatath's power. But I also feel like the skybox across the entire map of Azeroth, I feel like the skybox will show like a massive void tear in the atmosphere, because they kind of hinted at that with the teaser trailer. So I feel like every surface level zone, other than the undergrounds of Khazalgar, I feel like you'll see the void tearing out. So yeah, who knows? I could be very wrong. But I feel like at least some of that has legs. Like, I feel like some of that has legitimacy. Because, yeah, they are not going to be doing an elf expansion if they're not going to have Sylvanas and the other two sisters rekindle. It might be short-lived. Like I said, it might be that there's a bit of hope. You think it's going to go well, and then something goes batshit. And then Sylvanas is, like, looking at her sisters going, forgive me. And she, like, I can just see it. I can just imagine a cinematic. Because WoW love to get those tearjerker moments without a lot of payoff. You think about the Ysera stuff. You think about the... you know, the death of certain prominent characters or potential deaths of characters. The Varian moment in Legion, like, yeah, you know it's coming. They're going to milk that as hard as they can. And, yeah, I think it's going to be like a Sylvanas is side by side with her sisters. They're holding up the Windrunner, like, Ranger General front. They're all, you know, bows at the ready, whatever they need to do. And then Sylvanas kind of sees this visual of, like, there's only one way to stop this. And it's kind of like if anybody watched Endgame, the Marvel movie, with the whole, like, Thanos thing. Like, where Doctor Strange is, like, looking for a timeline where one survives. I feel like that's what Sylvanas is going to be almost doing. She'll be looking at the battle scene and going, somebody needs to just jump at the void at face value. And her being an agent of death, we know that the void as a cosmology, and I said this to Stommies earlier, as part of the cosmology chart, we know that the void is scared of death. So who else is better to challenge that by either jumping into a void portal to stop it altogether, to knock Xal'atath out completely, and take her with her? Who knows? But I can just imagine it's going to be a head turn to the side to her sisters, like Illyria especially, and sort of saying like a, forgive me, and then she bolts off into the fray to end her life by creating a sacrifice. I will fucking cry if that happens. I will cry grown man tears on that, because fuck me, they'll kill me if they do that. To the point where I'll have to do it in stream so people can watch me and laugh. Watch the grown man cry over an animated woman that he's fallen in love with on stream all these years. But at the same time, I really love Xal'atath as well. So if they both go in like a murder-suicide situation, I'll be quite sad. Like, I know we have to kill Xal'atath at some point, surely. She's been a pretty compelling character since Legion, though. I've really enjoyed Xal'atath. Like, she is far more entertaining than the Jailer ever was.
It's a fine day for a hunt.
Especially because she's been sort of littered into the story since Legion gradually. Like, she was there for all of Legion with my Shadow Priest, because I had the Xal'atath weapon. In fact, I still have it in my bag. I never let that go. There we go, my Xal'atath Blade of the Black Empire. She's, you know, she came back in Battle for Azeroth into some degree. She was obviously quiet for the Shadowlands as far as we were aware for most of it. But yeah, and now she's been like this very interesting sort of anti-villain, sorry, villain with a momentary, temporary alliance.
There you are. Good. There are many tasks that have been waiting on your arrival. Please see to their completion.
How rude.
Our work has just begun.
Oh, Hemmett's here now. Oh, cool. This is so funny. So the actual Koresh storyline was like a quarter of what this seems to be. The Oasis is the thing that has the most story time. That's crazy. Oh, I feel like I should be. Oh, is this time gated as well?
With funding.
Are you for real?
Salvation. I swore an oath to restore.
Oh, well, I guess the
my
Oasis is time gated because I can't do any more of the quests. But where's the mount? I'm supposed to be getting a fucking mount. I'm going to look on my phone because I really don't want to break my computer again with the whole opening Chrome and having too many things open. Wowhead. Because it mentions something about how I can finish the Oasis, but I've got to... unlock it somehow. Here we go. Week 1 quest line. Ah, so you can unlock a mount, but it doesn't explain how I can mount as a phase diver though. So I've got to find that article now quickly. Ooh, Void, are you at all interested in Legion Remix when it comes out? Ooh, 5 new character slots for all WoW accounts coming. I need those slots because I have like 67 that I'm currently using. Oh, yes. So, my question to you was, are you excited or into the idea of Legion Remix, and will you partake? Oh, good. I am so keen, and I just saw that we'll get 5 extra character slots on all accounts. I need those because I have 67 characters. I'm going to delete a couple that I did in Mop Remix that I haven't really continued with, but yeah, I've got to... Oh, yeah, awesome. I'm so keen. Legion is actually my favorite expansion of them all, even including Wrath. I really love Legion. I am so excited, and I'm really keen to do the class halls again because I did them all on the original round. I wonder how they're going to do it for the Drakthea, whether or not you'll be able to create a Drakthea or not. Or like an Evoker or whatever. And I'm pretty sure... I mean, it makes sense because they didn't have an order hall, so it probably makes sense that you don't have them. I mean, it doesn't really make sense in terms of the story of how we got to time walking in the first place, or the whatever it was. Because when we did the Mist one, it was like the time dragons were like, you're going into the past to look at this. But now, because we're doing Legion, I wonder how they're going to do that as a story plot. Because, yeah, in Mists of Pandaria, Eternus from the Infinite Dragonflight was trying to learn more about the past. But now with the World Saga heating up, she's looking into some of the events that have led up to what's happening. Ah. Every artifact weapon shares a powerful trait tree, and you'll choose along a path of nature, fell, arcane, storm, or holy. Ah, and you can respec. Okay. And there's like a hard mode as well. I mean, Drakthir should be allowed if they're going to play a non-evoker, I would imagine. But they're probably not going to do that because it's just probably too hard to code. But yeah, maybe they just say you can't be an evoker. But yeah, I don't know. Because Drakthir can be like warriors and mages and stuff, can't they? I've never made one. I only have the 2 evokers, Horde and Alliance. I'm so excited. Like, this has all been fun, but like, fuck, I can't wait to play Legion Remix. And yeah, they're going to have the Fel-infused class mounts. So I've got all the class mounts from the class halls, all 12 of them. I even got a nice little feat of strength for that, finishing each of the class halls. I wonder if there'll be new titles as well. Ooh, there's Ashara Aspired Robe Transmogs. I wonder if that's a tie-in to Ashara coming back. Oh, that's my other theory. So, Ashara having been a former elf in her life... Yeah, exactly. Or it could just be they get a... Yeah. If it was a Drakthir that wasn't an evoker, I feel like they could slot into the existing class that they pick. And then, yeah, I think if it's evokers, it's just be like, yeah, the evokers weren't a part of the Legion history. However, here's a weapon we've crafted for you. And you'd probably do similar. You just wouldn't get like the full quest. But then again, I guess it then kind of limits how much an evoker could do, because they're not going to make a whole class hall system just for an evoker. But yeah, my other theory here with the whole Midnight remix, the Midnight expansion, is that Ashara is going to come back in a very beneficial way. I don't know if it will necessarily mean that we'll end up with like playable Naga or anything like that. I would love that, and I'm sure a lot of people would. But I get a theory that she is coming back to help defend the elves as well. I think with everything that's gone on in the last few expansions, I think she's going to have a come to Jesus moment where she's going to realize that yes, she's a Naga. Yes, she made a bidding with N'Zoth to gain more power and all that sort of shit. But I think she's going to come to the realization that she was once an elf of, you know, high prominence, and she needs to help defend the elves. And I feel like they're going to let her help. And she's going to bring the Naga in as part of the military of it all. And that's why it makes me wonder if they're doing Ashara-themed transmogs in Remix. I wonder if that's like a tie-in for her coming back. I know it's also because she was involved in the story plot in Legion, but I just wonder. Yeah, 5 new character slots for all World of Warcraft accounts. Yeah, nice. You also don't have to wait for the end of Legion Remix to move your characters over to play them in the War Within. So basically, if you get it to level 80 and you're happy with it, you can just merge it into the War Within. That's cool. It'll obviously get rid of all the remix specific stuff. It's a one-way trip. That's cool though, because there were some characters that I would have happily have leveled in the main game, continued doing like end content with, like gearing up and stuff, but I had to wait until the end of that remix. Oh, they're doing time gating. They're releasing things every 2 weeks in the remix. So they're going to kind of give it like a patch cadence like the actual story mode. So you won't get to Argus until the very end and they release it. I mean, I don't really like that, because if anything is like the previous one, we're going to be leveling so quick, and I don't really want to level 10 characters and get them all stuck at the time gating. That one I don't agree with. And there's 5 stages. So there'll be 10... it's going to be a 10-week event by the look of it. It'll be 2 weeks of Skies of Fire. So that's the Broken Isles and the original Legion content up until the Nightmare Raid. Then there'll be the Rise of the Night Fallen, which will be the Surima quest line. And then Legion Fall will be the Broken Shore where the Tomb of Sargeras was. Then the 4th stage will be the Argus storyline where we travel there. And the final 2 weeks will be as the remix timeline starts to collapse. It's going to be like Infinite Echoes. So it's going to be like a more time-based couple of weeks. Okay. Oh wow, they're already putting it on the PTR as well for people to test. Wow. That's advanced quicker than I thought. I just feel like I feel like it was obviously a long time of us speculating, but I feel like the announcement that it's actually coming was very like snap and quick and didn't actually get done officially. I think it was just kind of like, boom, it's happening. But anyway. Ooh, the Ashara themed gear looks really nice. Oh my god, you can get a fell sword that looks like Varian's weapon, Charlemagne. The one that Anduin has now. Wow. God, I'm so excited. Ooh, priest exclusive artifact from Dimensius. Priests can access an exclusive quest line after they kill Dimensius, rewarding them with a new mace variant of their Beacon of the Naru, which was from Legion. Ooh, my priest is going to like that, even though he doesn't play that class, that spec. That's cool. I never thought they would add new artifact appearances, but there you go. Oh, it's because that particular weapon was to do with a Naru that was against Dimensius, so it's kind of like a fragment of a Naru. That's wicked. I like that they've done that. I mean, it's only a cosmetic, but still, that's cool. As a priest main, I'm very excited about that. Yeah, 2 weeks of Legion remix testing. I'm kind of curious, but I don't know if I want to install a PTR instance because it takes so much space on my computer. And yeah, each of the Fel Order Hall mounts will be available. Oh, here we go. Unlock exclusive Fel Order Hall mounts by leveling each class to 80. Oh, that's easy. So you got to reach level 80 on a class of your choice. And then you can purchase the rest of them with bronze if you don't want to do the class halls. I am actually going to just create 12 characters, and I'm going to have each of them progress to the end. That's how I roll. So I'm going to do one of each class. I did that with Mop as well. I did one of each class, and then I started doubling up. But yeah, they're all themed in Fel coloring. That's wicked. I might actually use some of these after that. Oh. I wonder if with the new expansion and the pre-patch and stuff, I wonder as well if there'll be like yeah, any changes in leadership, whether it's through death or just like people changing leadership. I wonder. Because at the moment, our leadership is mostly settled. Like, the Alliance is not really settled, actually. Because the Alliance has Anduin was the king. He gave up. He kind of disappeared for a long time and still hasn't really returned to be the king. So we've got Turalyon acting as like the king of the human Stormwind faction and the alliance overall. Tyrande and Malfurion have kind of given up the leadership of the Night Elves to their adopted daughter, Chandris. Who else have we got? We've got the dwarves are generally comfortable. Like they've got the leadership of the three council members. So like Moira and the other two, they lead it's like the three hammers, or whatever it is. The dwarves, the gnomes are led by Mechatalk, so we're comfortable with that. Hang on, what have we got? Let me just jump out and look at the actual races so I can kind of see. Because I'm curious about what they might do to shake up things a little bit. It feels like every few expansions they do a bit of a shake up in terms of, the leadership. Either they kill the leader or they change the story plot behind it. So what have we got? We've got a new character. Where are we at? So yes, we know Turalyon is leading the humans for now until Anduin either decides to return or Turalyon takes over. The dwarves are led by three leaders. Moira, not Muradin, Magni, no, not Magni, what's the other one? Is it Muradin? Muradin, Magni, and Bran. Maybe it is Muradin. Anyway, whoever the other leader is, and the other one. Tyrande and Malfurion kind of gave up their leadership temporarily to go have a holiday. So they gave it to Chandris. The gnomes are by Mechatalk, so we know that. The Draenei have Velen as their leader still, kind of. Their de facto leader. I feel like he's kind of had enough story plot for a while, so I don't think they're going to really change him anytime soon. He had a really big story plot in Legion especially, so he's kind of on the wayside now. Gen Greymane is definitely the leader of the Worgen, so we're comfortable with that. The Pandaren, well, it's not so much that they've got leadership, it's more that they follow whatever the faction does, but they do have their respective like liaison for the pandas. So there's like the two different ones that work for both Horde or Alliance. The Drakthir don't really have strong leadership either at this point in time. I mean, they're only new, but like they're kind of led by Alexstrasza, but they're also kind of led by the Scale Commanders or whatever. I don't know. They're kind of like a faction of their own that do their own thing, kind of. The Void Elves at this point are led by Thalisra, but she's now married to the head of the Void Elf. Oh, it's not the Void Elf, sorry. That's the Nightborn. Sorry, I'm getting them wrong. Sorry, the Void Elves are led by Illyria. So she'll be like the leader of that faction for a while, especially after the events of the current chapter. Lightforged Draenei, I guess they kind of will fall under Velen as Draenei, but like at the same time they had like a leader in Uriel or whatever her name is in the old Draenor, but she hasn't come across, so she's kind of still there. So I guess they are under Velen, if you can think about it that way. The Dark Irons are led by Moira, so as an allied race they kind of fall underneath Moira. The Earthen, they kind of have their council in Dornogal, as we've just discovered in this expansion. The Coltirans are effectively led by Jaina. She kind of is their admiral, Grand Admiral, whatever they call her, Lord Admiral. And the Mecha Gnomes, I guess, would be under Mechatalk, because they don't really have they had a dictator, but he's been taken care of in the Mecha Gnome dungeon. Or Mechagon, or whatever it was called. So yeah, I dare say they've kind of fallen under Mechatalk. But anyway. And then when we go to the Horde, we've got the Orcs are kind of not really led by Thrall anymore. He's not really their leader. And the Horde itself doesn't have a war chief anymore, whereas the Alliance is still kind of headed by a King of Stormwind. But the Horde now run like a council-based membership, so it's kind of like the major leaders of different factions kind of band as one big council. I really like this face paint, by the way. I might have to do this for Legion. That looks really good. And the dark green skin. I'm not used to the Orcs being that dark. That looks really good. But yeah, so they kind of, because Saurfang's dead now, so it's probably Ultrig. I think Ultrig might be their de facto leader because Thrall's not really taken on the leadership since he became a baby daddy, and Saurfang was kind of like acting as a de facto leader, but he's now dead thanks to Sylvanas. So yeah, he's it's kind of Ultrig, I think. Altig, or whatever his name is, I can't remember. The Forsaken are, again, they've only had a recent change in the last couple of expansions, so Sylvanas was historically their leader, but they now kind of are led by Lillian Voss and Kalia Menethil, who is Arthas' sister. She is now a light undead, or a light Forsaken, and Lillian Voss is a historic figure in the game. They kind of lead it, but they're also led by like a council of the Forsaken as well. I forget their name, but they had a really prominent story in the books. It was like the Council of Sorrow or something. It had like a really like a deathish sort of name to it. But anyway, they kind of lead as a group. They've kind of allowed a bit more democracy amongst the Forsaken. So they're kind of a bit of a mixed leadership again. But Lillian and Kalia kind of speak on their behalf at a top level. The Tauren are still effectively led by Bane Bloodhoof, as far as I'm aware. He kind of keeps things going. The Trolls are led by... actually, I can't remember who the Trolls are led by, because Vol'jin's dead. He was the previous war chief before Sylvanas. I actually don't know who leads them. Because it's not our Zappy boyfriend that was in BFA. He's not a leader. But anyway, yeah, I don't know who actually leads them. I think his name was like started with a V as well. But yeah, they did have somebody. I just can't remember who it is. The Blood Elves are currently led by Lorthramar, who is married to Thalisra, who is the leader of the Nightborn. So they've since gotten married. I wonder about Lorthramar. I wonder if he will survive the void attack on Silvermoon. The Goblins were led by Gallywix, but he's now been taken out a second time. But they kind of led by, again, like a council structure. Like there's a few cartels that kind of work together. But they're an interesting mob as well, because they don't really have like a direct leader. The Pandas are the same, like I said before. Drakthir are the same as before. They've kind of copped out a little bit lately, where the main races are now, you can just be one or the other. Nightborn Thalisra, married to Lorthramar, leading this group. They've only been with us since Legion. The High Mountain Tauren are led by Mela High Mountain, or whatever her name is. But I think they are de facto led by Bane as well. Like he kind of has taken them all in. The Magha Orc are led by Gaera. She's a denizen of the old Draenor that was part of the Iron Horde storyline, and she's brought the Magha to Azeroth. Or maybe we do have Yrel as a non-crazy version, actually. I think she is still here in Azeroth. But yeah, so that's the same with the Magha. They've come across and they are unburdened by the foul blood that they drank. The Earthen have their leadership. The Zandalari Trolls would be headed by the Princess, whatever her name was. The daughter of the leader of Zuldazar. So she would still be leading them. I love that. That looks so good as a shaman. And the Volpira, I actually cannot remember who leads them. I'm sure they have at least a leader, but I don't know. They're just too cute and fuzzy for my liking, so I don't really know about that. But anyway. So yeah, they're the leadership chains. So I wonder, if, across the Elven ones at least, I wonder if there'll be any big changes or not. But anyway. Hopefully I haven't bored you all to tears with that little explanation, if you're still around. It shows that you're both still here, so hopefully I haven't bored you out. keep now getting spammed in Discord with people trying to invite me to chat. It's like the bots that want to chat about their graphic design. And I can just tell that what they're about based on the first message they send me. Or their name. Like one was just called Pixel Queen and I have no shared servers with them. And I'm like, you're a bot. I mean, I'd feel bad if they actually weren't a bot and they just tried to add me from my stream, but I doubt it. Alright, so we might just do a little bit more before I call it for the night. We've hit the 2-hour mark of this remaining stream. After I had to restart a couple of times because my Streamlabs crapped it. Where's the chest? There's the chest. Alright, so we're going to do some questies. So I can't do anything there. So let's just complete these things as I can do them. So hydrobites fished from the waters. Oh, I've got a fish. I don't want a fish. That's alright. Why am I still awake? It's more how am I still awake? Because it's not a why question. It's more of a how. I don't know. I've just got energy. I've just been waffling for the last 20-30 minutes about ideas for the new expansion. So that's kind of been keeping me entertained. But yeah, I don't know. I just... it is only 1:33. Yeah. In a grand scheme for me on a Saturday, that's actually not that late. It's probably an average time I'd find myself in bed. So yeah, probably got another... maybe 20 minutes. Maybe we'll see ourselves... Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I'm just awake. I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. But I am conscious of the fact that if I go to bed in the next half an hour or so, which is going to be good, I'll have a little bit of a sleep in, but then I'll still have plenty of time to do a daytime stream tomorrow, or today. Because I would like to do a daytime stream Australian time. Get attached to people's Saturday nights in the Northern Hemisphere. Since that's my only day I can do it in the week. I wish I worked part-time or like had one day in the week that I wasn't working, so that could be my streaming day. Because then I could talk to people more from the Americas and the Canadas and the fun places. But you guys are the real ones. You come to the streams even when it's like 4 in the morning. Bless your hearts, like honestly. And that was not said as like the southern insult. That was a genuine bless your hearts. I do say it in both ways. I say it as an intentional, like, really nice message. Like a, yes, bless you. Like, bless your hearts. I'm not a religious person either. Or I say it as the southern rebuke. Like the, oh, bless your heart. Oh, hydrate. You get to do it again. Yay. I have been good, and I have been drinking a lot of water today, because I've had takeaway the last 2 nights, which is not going to happen again through the week, or through the month. Really, I'll probably be mostly good with it. But because I've had, like, with both takeaway meals, I've had a soft drink or a fizzy drink with it. I'm like, I'm gonna compensate by having a shit ton more water than I probably am used to drinking. Ooh, here we go. Profession recipes available. Nice. Alright, what are the other quests I've got to do? So I've got to do... overworked bees picked up. How do I pick them up, though? Are they just on the floor? Yes, they are. Oh, the poor honey bees. They're so overworked, they're falling to the floor. Bless them. Imagine being so put out that you have to be picked up off the ground. Oh, it actually makes me feel sad for the bees. What are they making them do that they're so overworked? Oh, look at them. They're just all clumped up in little piles. this peacock makes me so happy. I love the sound it makes. The meow. Snummies, I can't believe you're still like on the stream watching. Like, I mean, you did say that you didn't think sleep was going to come to you, but like still, I'm amazed at the stamina, honestly. Oh, nice. Is that any fun? I reckon I would find that entertaining, that game. It's like one of my favorite loves is definitely like crime stuff. Oh, that's cool. I might have to look into it. I assume it's just like kind of like the games Eva plays, like the simulator style games. My mum used to get into a lot of games that were... Oh, did it? Nice. Oh, cool. My mum used to get into those games, I'm sure you know the kind, where like, it's like a room and you gotta find all the objects. But they used to like find all these, there was a stage, probably the last 5 or so years, maybe even longer, they kind of found a way to make that the concept of the game, but they would have so many storylines attached to that concept. So even though each level is just you like tapping on the screen on an iPad to like find all the objects, they'd make it like you're in a haunted house and then you'd have to go through different chapters. And she found so many of these games, and I'm like, good that you enjoy them, but how are you finding them just as thrilling when it's basically the same? Like, I enjoy them too, but I don't know why she had so many variations of them, because I was like, but it's the same point and click concept. I mean, you could say that about like role-playing MMOs and stuff, it's just point and click and do quests, but I don't know. She would give me one that was like a crime scene, one was like a haunted house, one was like a market. But the same thing, I'm like, did they change? Like, do you get to do different things as well? She's like, no, you just point and click. And I'm like, okay, power to you. If you love that, great.
So soon. Take care.
I mean, I guess it's also the same like the Bejeweled style games. I mean, how many bloody games and franchises have released a version of like Bejeweled where you've got to do a match 3 or 4 items, you know, to clear a line or whatever? Like, yeah. Because like even Pokemon did it. It was like if you did it a certain amount, you caught the Pokemon or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, how could you have bashed that concept out so much to make it relate to Pokemon? But they do it, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the beauty of a game like Bejeweled and stuff is like, it's very like, you got to concentrate and obviously play properly. But like, there is an element of it being like a bit mindless. Like, you don't have to think too hard about the strategy outside of the usual game. It's not like WoW where you've got to think about like strategies for each boss is different and stuff like that. Like in that, it's simply clear the lines, do that, do that. One of the games I used to like on the phone was Bubble Witch Saga. It was like that sort of, you aim the orbs at the colours that were matching. My mum got me onto that one, actually. She got quite far, actually. She played quite deeply into it. I mean, at the end of the day, the Bejeweled games are basically just like an elevation of Tetris. I loved Tetris. I was actually not too bad at that. And if anybody ever remembers the game Dr. Mario, where you got to match all the pill colors, and the music was so addictive. Dun 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 dun. And the like, depending on which song you chose, Virus or a couple of the other songs, it would be like that really catchy song. I might play that on stream sometimes. I've got it on my Switch. as part of the like the classic games. I did say I wanted to have like retro gaming nights, and I just haven't had time to play them. I've been too busy playing other things. Well, during during the horror weekend in Halloween, I will be playing one retro game, Hugo's House of Horrors. So that will be fun. That's an 80s 90s game.
With funding comes salvation.
My god, this weekly quest is taking a while. Alright, well, we'll go and claim more anima. I mean, I guess for a zone of this size, you would expect that they'd have to give you a lot of quests, but like, Jesus. There's quite a few. Bum 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 bum.
I need to get closer.
These monsters are so stingy with how much they're giving me in the currency that I need to collect. Stingy, stingy. Basically, beef is one of my favorite items in this game. There's just something about it that makes me laugh every time I see it. It's like, yeah, it's basically beef. Which also makes me laugh that that's an item I can find on a foreign planet. What? I just killed these things for nothing? How rude. Me and my basically beef. Bloody one more of these items I need. They couldn't just give it to me. There we go. That's the last of the items. I'm gonna heal a little bit, and then we're gonna hand things in.
Tears freely in and out of untethered space, devouring all that is left of our world. Bring its reign to an end.
Alright, let's see how bad this battle is. This dragon is a fucking mofo. Oh, are they? Is he dead? What have they done? Have they killed him already, or are they waiting? We haven't even started yet. Are you for real?
The great dragon, Reshanor, tears freely in and out of untethered space, devouring all that is left of our world. Bring its reign to an end.
Yeah, this is like a world boss. They create these giant battles where they take a lot of people to beat, and you start like a group to like recruit for it, and they get so hard to beat. And this one in particular can take like a full 10 minutes to kill, just because of how much there is to do. And it goes into multiple phases and all this other shit. Oh my god, they pulled him already? It's a bit premature, guys. You're gonna die. Unless they've nerfed it and made it easier, which I don't think they would have. Not this quickly. Oh, but then again, it's taking a lot of damage, so maybe it does. Maybe it is ready to kill.
Stop casting.
Oops. Uh-oh, shadow locked. That's not good.
Breath incoming.
That's fine. Delist me all you like. Alright, I think after this dragon kill I might wrap up the stream and finish up a couple of quests in my non-streaming time, and then, yeah, make that way towards the bed direction. Even if that means doom scrolling for another hour on TikTok, at least it's something in bed.
I'm out of range.
Oh, me too. I find such great content on there. And it's my way of relating to people these days. Like, I send so many of the videos out to friends and family when I think of them. Like, a video makes me think of them. It's kind of like my bonding mechanism.
Stop casting. Breath incoming.
Because my love language is saying, hey, I saw this fun meme or video, and it makes me think of you. That's my love language, or one of my love languages. Oh yeah, me too.
Breath incoming.
She gets them from me in Messenger all the time. I would say my love languages are doing that, My other love languages would be what's it called? Giving service, or like making other people feel better. And yeah, I'd say that's probably my main ones, really. Giving gifts to a degree, but it's probably more giving service. I think that's probably more what I like to do. I like to be of service to people. Yeah, I figured that. I figured the kindred spirit aspect about that.
Breath incoming. Stop casting. Breath incoming.
Well, it's halfway down and we haven't completely wiped, so that's okay. It's just funny watching 40 characters running to the same direction. And these are all people I've recruited because I started the quest for it. Oops. But it's just funny knowing that I'm responsible for 39 other players being here. And they're all like randomly running into the direction of the dragon. Ah, shitski. I gotta get into the portal, fucking. There we go. It's a pretty clever attack, pretty clever battle they've built. So it's a dragon that can visit the void.
Stop casting.
And it goes into like these void phases where you have to quickly change into its phase to get to it.
Breath incoming.
But when people don't know what to do, they just run around aimlessly, and it's so funny. Not that I'm an expert, but like, I thankfully had somebody in an earlier group tell me what to do, so I was like, okay, good. I'll run and find that spot.
Breath incoming.
Imagine being so fearsome that
Stop casting.
your breath is an attack. I mean, get me at the first thing in the morning before I've had a chance to brush my teeth and my breath could be an attack. Jesus. Knock out anybody. It's half the reason I don't share beds with people anymore. Because I'm like, I don't want to wake up next to someone and be like, good morning. Yeah, same. I need to get those, I actually ordered some. I'm waiting for them to arrive. I actually should check the status of that order. I ordered a pack of those, like, nose strips that, like, make the bridge of your nose kind of open a little bit more. Because I'm wondering if part of it is that my nose is a bit more blocked at night. I also think there's, like, a throat issue that I need to get sorted out, like a tonsils or something situation. Also, I just need to lose some weight, because, like, when you gain weight, your chances of sleep apnea symptoms do increase. But, yeah, I would love to be able to sleep with my mouth closed. To the point where I considered buying, like, the mouth tape you can buy, like the sleeping tape. But I was like, I'm worried that I'll like, yeah, same. I've got quite a bit I need to shed in the next year or two. I'd like to, but yeah, I worry that if I block my mouth with mouth tape, I know I can take it off, but I worry that I'll like feel claustrophobic with my nose being the only method of breathing at night. But I do also want to know if it would improve my sleep quality. I don't know. But yeah, I'm waiting to see those nose strips. I want to see them arrive, because like... Ooh, I got a waist... it's not for me. Yeah, I'm worried I would feel like I'm going to suffocate, even if I don't actually suffocate. But yeah, because I never used to be a bad snorer. I could probably have been accused of breathing a little bit heavily at night. But like, my earlier partners in my relationships never really complained, oh, you snore too much, or you're, oh my god, you woke me up with your snoring. Actually, one did, but granted, I gained a lot of weight when I dated him because of how unhappy I was. So, I like to say he was part of the blame. Funnily enough, that's Eva's cousin, my ex. But the other partners where I was like a little bit on the fitter side, like, yeah, they never complained. They never said, oh, you snore too much, or oh my god, you're so bad, and blah blah blah. So I do think in the last handful of years, it's definitely weight gain that's probably contributed to that.
Once again, my expectations for you have been exceeded. You have my thanks.
You have my thanks. The voice actress that's here, she does a voice from Overwatch as well, Anna. But I love her voice. She's this Middle Eastern voice actress, and god, she's got a good voice. Oh, I got a mount already. Oh, companion. Oh, that's okay. A pet's always good. What does it look like? Oh, isn't that kind of cute in an ugly way? God, that's my new pet. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum. Alright, what are we doing now? We have done as many quests as we can do there. Oh, I think I need to go to Dornagal, which is the hub for the expansion. But I am going to set my hearth here. Let's go to Delaran. Alright, well, in this vein, I'm going to call it a morning, since it's now 2 in the morning. We're going to call it a morning, and I'm going to say good night, good day, good morning. Thank you, Snommies, for being here. It's, as usual, you know this. It's always awesome to chat with you, so thank you. I'm going to, wrap up what I'm doing here. Going to go to bed, try and get some sleep, and I should be streaming probably in about 10 to 12 hours. I probably will be on, and I'll try and do a bit of a day stream for a few hours, and yeah, we'll go from there. Other than that, hope you have a good rest of your morning / day, or whatever time it is. Maybe if you get some sleep, cool. But yes, I will see you when I see you. Talk soon, and goodbye.